Have you ever looked up at the night sky, a vast dark ocean sprinkled with countless stars, and felt a sense of wonder about our own tiny blue world? This planet, our Earth, is a spaceship. It's our vessel on an endless journey around the sun, equipped with everything we need to survive: air, water, life. But like any ship, it has its limits. How many passengers can this spaceship Earth comfortably carry on its cosmic voyage? Is there a full sign somewhere we can't see, a cosmic warning that we're approaching the edge of what our world can sustain? This isn't just a question for scientists or philosophers, it's a question for every single one of us, the crew of this remarkable planet. The question of our planet's capacity is one of the most profound we can ask. Imagine a simple jar filled with marbles. You can keep adding marbles one by one, and for a while it seems like there's always more room, but eventually you reach a point where the next marble just won't fit, or if it does, another one spills out. Our planet is far more complex than a jar, of course. Its systems are dynamic, interconnected, and resilient. Yet the fundamental principle remains: the resources that support us are not infinite, and understanding the limits of our home is the first step toward becoming wise stewards of it. To begin our investigation, we need a concept, a tool from the language of science. That concept is carrying capacity. It sounds technical, but the idea is beautifully simple. Think of a small island with a population of rabbits. The island has a certain amount of grass, a certain amount of fresh water, a certain amount of space. The carrying capacity is the maximum number of rabbits that can live on that island sustainably, year after year, without destroying the very resources they need to survive. If too many rabbits are born, they will eat all the grass, foul the water, and the population will inevitably crash. It's a natural law of balance. Now let's scale that idea up, way up, to the size of a planet. Earth has its own carrying capacity for the human species. It's not as simple as grass for rabbits. Our needs are far more complex, and our ingenuity allows us to change the rules of the game. But the core principle holds: the planet's ability to support us is determined by its finite resources and the ability of its ecosystems to absorb our waste and regenerate. We rely on healthy oceans to produce oxygen and regulate climate, on fertile soils to grow our food, and on a stable atmosphere to protect us. These are the pillars of our planetary home. Carrying capacity isn't a single fixed number. It's a dynamic value influenced by many variables: technology, resource use, and perhaps most importantly, our choices and lifestyles. At the very foundation of our survival is something we often take for granted: food. The story of human civilization is, in many ways, the story of our quest for calories. For most of our history, we were hunter-gatherers, limited by what we could find. Then, about 10,000 years ago, we learned to domesticate plants and animals. Agriculture began. This was perhaps the single greatest leap in Earth's carrying capacity. We were no longer just harvesting nature, we were actively managing it, creating a more reliable and abundant food supply that allowed our numbers to grow. Modern agriculture relies on vast monocultures and inputs, fertilizers, pesticides, and massive amounts of water. The Green Revolution and synthetic fertilizers staved off famines and allowed human numbers to soar. But this abundance comes at a cost. Soil degradation, water pollution from runoff, and biodiversity loss are real consequences of the methods we use. Feeding 8 billion requires a global system of immense complexity: production, transport, and distribution. Yet 1/3 of all food produced is lost or wasted, a tragic paradox in a world of plenty. Diets matter. Meat-heavy diets, especially beef, demand far more land, water, and energy than plant-based diets. A world of 8 billion steak eaters has a much larger ecological footprint than one of plant-forward diets. The future of food lies in sustainable agriculture, reducing waste, making conscious dietary choices, and deploying technologies like vertical farming that can expand the larder without expanding the footprint. The power to change our planet's pantry lies as much on our dinner plates as in labs. If food is the fuel for our bodies, then water and energy are the lifeblood of our civilization. Water is the sine qua non of life. From space, our world is blue because of water, yet less than 1% of it is fresh and accessible for our needs. Agriculture consumes the lion's share of fresh water, roughly 70% of withdrawals. It takes about 1,800 gallons to produce a single pound of beef. In many regions, we pump groundwater faster than it can recharge. As populations grow, the strain on rivers, lakes, and aquifers intensifies. It's an overdraft on a vital account. Energy has always powered human life, from muscle and wood to wind and water. The Industrial Revolution unlocked fossil fuels, a concentrated form of stored solar energy. Coal, oil, and natural gas enabled an unprecedented expansion in industry, transport, and communication. Our global economy rests on abundant energy, but burning fossil fuels releases greenhouse gases, destabilizing climate systems, the ultimate test of carrying capacity. We powered a world of billions and now face the side effects. The transition to clean, renewable energy, solar, wind, geothermal, is essential. It's not just an environmental goal, it's fundamental to maintaining Earth's long-term carrying capacity for thriving civilization. Look at a globe. Spin it around. You see vast oceans and sprawling continents. It seems like there is a tremendous amount of space. But not all land is created equal. Much of the planet's surface is inhospitable. Ice sheets, deserts, high mountains. So the amount suitable for people is surprisingly limited. Cities concentrate people and can be efficient, but expansion often paves over fertile farmland and fragments habitat. Every acre turned into parking or pavement is an acre that can no longer grow food or host wildlife. Nearly 40% of ice-free land is used for farming, for crops and pasture. Pasture land for cattle drives deforestation in critical ecosystems like the Amazon. These forests are the planet's lungs, storing carbon and producing oxygen. Clearing them diminishes the Earth's ability to regulate climate. The real limit imposed by land is not standing room but ecological footprint. The challenge is to use land more wisely. Compact, transit-oriented cities, vertical farming, and regenerative methods that protect wild places and feed people. Throughout this cosmic story, there has been one constant force that pushes back perceived limits: human ingenuity. We are tool makers and problem solvers. Unlike rabbits limited by grass, we invent our way around limits, from fertilizers to irrigation to industrial energy. The Haber-Bosch process pulled nitrogen from the air and created synthetic fertilizers that supported roughly half the world's people. We literally learned how to turn air into bread. Today, desalination, precision agriculture, drought-resistant crops, and vertical farms offer ways to expand capacity, but none is a magic bullet. Every powerful solution can create new problems: fertilizer runoff, fossil fuel-driven climate change. The ultimate test is to innovate with foresight, solutions that are clean, restorative, and anticipatory. To understand our future, we must look to our past. The story of human population is not a smooth line, long stagnation punctuated by explosive change. For hundreds of thousands of years, our numbers grew slowly. Disease, famine, and climate swings kept populations in check. The carrying capacity for a stone tool species was low. The agricultural revolution led to villages, cities, and civilizations. Population climbed slowly until another turning point. Around 1800, the curve turned upward. The Industrial Revolution, modern medicine, improved sanitation, the Green Revolution, and transport networks. In just 2 centuries, we rose from 1 billion to 8 billion. We added the last billion in roughly a decade. Never before have so many humans lived on Earth at once. History shows carrying capacity can be radically altered by ideas and technologies, but also teaches caution. Recent growth was fueled by exploiting finite resources, especially fossil fuels. We stand at a fork. History shows us how we got here but offers no guarantees. The lessons guide us. The choices for the future are our own. So, what is the number? When we gather the data, consult experts and run models, what answer do we get? The shocking truth is there is no single, universally agreed upon number. Estimates range wildly, from as low as 500 million to 1 trillion or more. The range isn't about flawed science, it is about assumptions, how we live, what we prioritize. Lower estimates prioritize biodiversity and high quality of life. Higher estimates lean on technological optimism. Ideas like E.O. Wilson's half-Earth, setting aside half the planet for nature, suggest maybe 2-3 billion people living at comfortable standards. Technological optimists imagine fusion, complete water recycling, hyper-efficient food production, and even space resources could raise carrying capacity dramatically. Most ecologists say a single number is misleading. Focus instead on ecological footprint. Today, humanity exceeds the planet's biocapacity by roughly 70%, about 1.7 Earths. We are in overshoot, liquidating natural capital to support our current way of life. We find ourselves at a remarkable moment in our species' history and of our planet. The evidence is clear. Our current path of growing consumption and reliance on finite resources is not sustainable. We are already pushing against limits: climate change, biodiversity loss, and resource depletion. But this is not a moment for despair. It is a moment for responsibility and action. Planting trees, transitioning to clean energy, building sustainable food systems, and protecting biodiversity. It is about creating environments where sustainable choices are the easiest choices. Empowering people, especially women and girls, with education and healthcare historically leads to voluntary stabilization of population growth. The future capacity of Earth will be written by our choices, values, and collective actions. Our planet is rare and precious. We are its custodians. The voyage continues. Let's make it a long and beautiful one.